The city sidewalk was alive with footsteps and chatter. Shoppers passed by carrying bags and office workers rushed to lunch. On a corner, near a bus stop, sat an older black man with tired eyes. His clothes were worn, his shoes frayed, his hair streaked with gray. Beside him, a small cardboard sign read, "Hungry. Please help." He wasn't loud. He wasn't aggressive. He just sat quietly, his hands folded in his lap, his gaze fixed on the ground. Then came the siren's wail. A police cruiser pulled up, lights flashing, though there was no emergency. 2 officers stepped out, young, cocky, with mirrored sunglasses and smirks already forming. Officer 1. "All right, sir, let's move it along." "Can't have you cluttering up the street." The man looked up slowly. "Homeless man. I'm not hurting anyone." "Just sitting, Officer 2. Mocking. "Just sitting, huh? With your little sign. That's called loitering, buddy." Illegal. A few passers-by slowed to watch. Some shook their heads, but most kept moving. The man stood, back straight despite his frailty. "Homeless man. I have a right to be here." Officer 1. Snorting. "You have the right to move before we cuff you." "Your choice." The officers grabbed his arms, twisting them roughly behind his back. He winced but didn't resist. The crowd grew larger. Phones came out, and recording. Officer 2. "Look at this guy. Probably never worked a day in his life." Another bum expecting handouts. Laughter rippled through a group of teenagers nearby. The man lowered his head. His dignity, chipped away daily, was under siege again. "Homeless man. You don't know me." Officer 1. "Don't need to. I can smell you from here." Gasps from the crowd. Even some onlookers shifted uncomfortably. One officer reached into the man's pocket, pulling out a worn leather wallet. He flipped it open, smirking. Officer 2. "Let's see what we've got here." Expired bus pass. Scraps. "Oh, what's this?" He pulled out an ID card, yellowed with age but still legible. His grin faltered. He stared, blinking. Officer 2. "Wait." The first officer leaned in, frowning. Officer 1. "What is it?" The second officer swallowed hard. His mocking tone was gone. Officer 2. "Sergeant, United States Army. Multiple commendations." "Purple Heart." The crowd murmured. Phones zoomed in. The man stood taller, his wrists still gripped, but his presence suddenly commanding. "Homeless man. I bled for this country. I carried brothers off the battlefield. I wore the uniform with pride. And now." "This is how you treat me?" Gasps. A woman in the crowd shouted, "Bystander! He's a veteran!" The officers froze. Their hands loosened on his arms. The man's voice grew stronger, steadier. "Homeless man. You see ragged clothes? You see a sign. You think I'm nothing, but my worth isn't written on fabric. It's written in sacrifice." Silence blanketed the street. Even cars passing slowed as people strained to hear. "Homeless man. I didn't fight for your pity. I fought for your freedom. And still you mock me." The officers exchanged nervous glances. The cameras caught every second. Officer 1. "Sir, we didn't know." Homeless man. Cutting in. "That's the problem. You didn't care to know. You judged before you asked. You condemned before you understood." The crowd erupted in applause. Some shouted support. The teenagers who had laughed now looked at the ground, ashamed. The officers stepped back, hands raised. Officer 2. "We're sorry, sir." The man took his ID from their hands, tucking it carefully back into his wallet. "Homeless man. Respect should not depend on a badge, or a title, or a uniform. Respect should be given because we are all human." Cheers rose. The officers retreated to their cruiser, faces burning with humiliation. Later that week, the video hit social media. Millions watched the moment a homeless veteran stood tall against prejudice. News outlets replayed his words. Comment sections filled with outrage. with praise, with calls for reform. The city mayor reached out, promising housing and care. Veteran groups rallied. Donations poured in. But for the man, the true victory wasn't in the headlines. It was in that moment on the street, when his dignity shone brighter than the badges that tried to strip it away. He sat once more on his corner, not with a sign, but with quiet pride. And this time, when people passed, they didn't look away. They nodded, they saluted, they remembered. Homeless man, whispering to himself, "I was always somebody." They just had to see it.